Hey there, beautiful people. My name is Tim Lee. Welcome to Legacy Studio and Draw Too Much. I am hanging out here, finally set up a top-down face camera because recently I have been enjoying the world of working in these beautiful fountain pens. And it's something where I'm not drawing as much digitally unless I have commissions right now, but what I'm drawing for myself is just sketching out these fun little stupid drawings in sketchbooks. And right now I just bought myself this hardbound sketchbook and my goal is just to fill it with whatever I can, and even if it's just something stupid, I just want to fill whole pages of whatever I have in here and just enjoy playing with different kinds of pens, different kinds of tests and theories, and just enjoy the experience. So, a lot of great stuff here. Oh, do I have a blank page? I have a blank page, don't I? Well, we have to fix that. We can't have blank pages, so we'll have to do a drawing here, and I can see that my character that I just drew is hiding underneath. Thankfully, these pages do not bleed very badly at all. I can show you here, that's the back side of the bubble page, and even the back side of this page where I splattered quite a bunch of ink on my beard. Didn't even begin to come through the page. So, pretty good book. I talked about this book in a previous video. So, I'm going to go ahead and do some sketching, show you the couple pens that I have here. This is a bit of a giveaway as well. Well, not accidentally. I did it on purpose. I opened up a gift from my sister, and I'm very thankful for the gift. So it's 2 days early, but I enjoy breaking rules. So I hope that she will forgive me, but also it was a wonderful gift. So here's a couple of the pens here. I'm going to go ahead and change our brightness on our camera so that you can hopefully see these a little better. We'll brighten up my light here so you get a really good view of them. This one is a Smoother Pro. It's a really, really nice pen. It doesn't have much pressure sensitivity. You got to push pretty hard to get pressure sensitivity on it, but it is a very smooth writer. That is for certain. I'll go ahead and cap that one off and put it away. This is my Moon Mini. Watched a video from Peter Draws. He talked about this beautiful little fountain pen, and I personally found myself really liking the large nib with that bent tip. I use it for a lot of fills and stuff like that. Got some on my finger there. And you can see I've been using it a while because look at the inside of that cap. That's full of ink. Yes, it is pretty cool that you can actually check out the nib by looking through the loop on the top. I think that's really cool. I think that's a very nifty idea. I bought this one just after that. This is a Zebra V301. Bought it at Walgreens, and I love it and hate it. I personally hate it, but at the same time, it does very, very fine lines. This is a fine tip pen, but I do not like this whole weird lid that's going over the nib and that whole scenario. They're trying to make it look cool, and to me it's just obnoxious, but it does okay. I am using just Zebra ink in here. I have not put anything else in it. It does not come with a converter, so I just have their Zebra fill in there, and you can see that I've actually gone through quite a bit of the ink already, messing around with a couple drawings with it, putting it to the test. This one is a beautiful pen. This is my Pilot Metropolitan. I love my Pilot Metropolitan. It is a wonderful, wonderful fountain pen. Beautiful. It's a medium nib on there, but it does wonderful thick to thin lines. Has a lot of nice pressure. I love the bullet shape of it. It just makes it very, very sleek. And even when you post, it posts really well. Feels like you're posting rubber to rubber. It's very, very nice pen. I love drawing with this one. Then I got this one. This is the Huang Dian. This is one my wife got me and gave me for Christmas. Once again, Christmas is in 2 days, but we like to open up our Christmas presents a little early and just break rules. So this one I've messed with a lot. I've adjusted the nib. I've used this one as a bit of a trainer pen. It puts out a lot of ink, but it does a great job, and I have a hard time choosing between this one and the Moon Man when I'm drawing between those two pens. It's a very fun pen. Also has a bent nib, so it does have that extra little fill color per se that I like to use. And then also the brand new pen that my sister just got me for Christmas, the one that I shouldn't have opened yet, but I did anyway. This one is a, how do you say it? It's a B, by, I have it written down here because I did a test page of it already right here. By Lunar, and did a bunch of tests on it, tried to see about how clean I could get it, tested it in comparison to my Moon Man and my Smoother Pro on the paper, and just gave myself a bunch of notes on it. Did a bunch of these circles and things with the By Lunar. It's actually a really wonderful pen. I used their ink cartridge in it that it came with, and then within about 20 minutes, I decided that I was going to go ahead and put my favorite ink in here. And I haven't tried many inks at all, but I absolutely love my carbon ink. All right, I'll get the box and show you the carbon ink, and then we'll turn down the light and play with the drawing a little bit. So hopefully right over here. It is missing. Okay, well, it has gone into hiding. I don't know where I put it at the moment, but I did have my ink out somewhere over there, and I just misplaced it. But carbon ink, you can look it up online, and you'll get full details on those on that ink. The nice thing is it's waterproof, so if you like to do watercolor, anything that's going to use water, at least you can still have that hard line sketch, and I prefer that. And then I was messing with this for a long time. I've had this pen for years. This one is a Pentel, and I forget what it is, but you get these replacements for it, the Pentel MLJ20s. And they have a lot of nice ink in them. Stylo. Oh, Pentel Stylo. That's what it is. But the thing is, as you're drawing with it, it kind of bleeds and it pops. So you'll get these weird droplets of ink while you're drawing. But it does have the same kind of effect as a fountain pen. It's kind of like a felt that's been stretched between two plastic pieces there. You can kind of see that. And you can get some flexibility and some pressure to it, but you know what? Just getting on the fountain pen world, I've just really, really, truly enjoyed my fountain pens. So we're going to close our eyes and randomly grab one, and of course I recognize most of the feels, so we'll start with the By Lunar here, and let's try and just create a drawing here. Recently, I've really enjoyed drawing nothing, and just enjoying the experience of sketching until something happens. Earlier today, I grabbed my smaller sketchbook, and I'm just going to go ahead and start. I grabbed my smaller sketchbook, and anything that I thought of in the moment, I drew it in a full page, and I really, really enjoyed it. So let's see if I can do that here. For right now, I'm just doing generalized just shapes and things like that, and I'll do, just whatever I'm feeling. The thing that's interesting about doing this is it's very Zen-like, kind of Zen garden. All right, and I said Zen garden, and usually those are kind of different rakes in sand. So I'm doing a bunch of these here, kind of represent that rake in the sand, and you kind of get into that groove of, I don't care what I'm drawing as long as I'm drawing. And it feels really good because it really just releases your brain. So here we go. I said brain. I'm thinking of a brain. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and draw in a brain with the two lobes. And maybe we'll put a little string coming out the bottom. And then we'll go ahead and tidy it up here with a couple noodle-esque kind of things here. And it might not make much sense now, and this is the thing that I was noticing about my initial sketches in my sketchbook, because you have all these weird lines and then you draw this very random brain in the middle of it, and you're going, wow, I really don't like that. But then as you keep drawing and you don't really think and you're just going for it, suddenly things just start to kind of connect a little bit, and that does make it really, really fun to see that begin to happen. So creating some shape around it here, we'll connect it back up to here, and maybe we'll go ahead and put some cross hatching on the lobes here. What is that, Abdullah oblongatas or something of that nature? I begin looking for places here where maybe we can start putting in some random shading. I love doing cross hatching. That was actually one of the reasons why I wanted to get into fountain pens. I just started by watching Peter Draws, and a lot of this happened because of watching Peter. Seems like a very interesting character. If you haven't seen his channel, you should go check it out. He reminds me a little bit of my sister in the way that he thinks. My sister is incredibly smart, and very detail oriented, and she lives her life very specifically. And I personally think that as I look at the way he talks and the way he thinks and the way he goes about his day and talks about what he's doing in school and things like that, it just really has that same feeling. But at the same time, he has these really, really beautiful random sketches that he does specifically just with a pen. And I'm going, okay, I am such a stickler for rules, such a person who is so focused on getting everything exactly right. I have to pre-sketch all of my stuff, whatever the case may be. This inspires me and gets my attention, and I really want to test this theory and see if it helps me and my brain, because recently I've noticed I'm on some different medication that has kind of opened up my brain a little bit more, and it's actually made me a little bit more, truth be told, very hyper. It's made me more ADD in my life. And it's one of those things now where I'm going, okay, should I look at meds to calm down the ADD? Because sometimes I can't even think. So the thing I'm liking is that this just kind of gets you in that Zen zone, and you can just kind of have fun sketching on whatever you want. So I said rules oriented, and I was drawing something that looked kind of like a stoplight. I was thinking about the old stoplights where you might have a stop here and a walk here, like that. There we go. And this looks like total nonsense, but when you fill a complete page with this stuff, you'd be surprised with how cool the final result actually looks. So I said another word that reminded me of a book. So I'm just sketching in kind of a book here. The other thing I like is that I notice when Peter draws, he doesn't put a lot of effort into, when he's drawing certain things, he doesn't put a lot of effort into getting those lines absolutely crisp. And yet, when he's done, there's just so much beauty and contrast in whatever he's drawn. And this guy is inspired by everything, by engines, by everything, hands down. And it's just, you can see these creatures, this world behind the scenes of each drawing that he's doing, and it just makes it so beautiful and so unique. I love watching him draw, and he holds himself in a way where you can just listen to him go all day. And I do sometimes. It's a lot of fun. So I said motor. So we got the motor here, and I'll go ahead and just kind of randomly build out a couple shapes to that, and then I'm going to pick another place here where I'll put in a globe because I said world. That kind of stuck in my head So I wanted to make sure I got that in here somewhere. And I'll try and include it into the shapes that I got here. There we go. Just kind of build all these things up. And I need to keep my camera on point here, but just kind of build up these. This kind of look. No, I'm not going to do a correct, proper globe, but just to start getting those shapes in there. And then one thing I enjoyed drawing earlier today, and I'll go ahead and do one right here, is I did a weird fish. And I just kind of drew it as simple as I possibly could. And so I just drew a fish just like that. Just like that. And if I needed to, I could go in there as long as the lines kind of cleaned up. And if they didn't, well, then you start adding contrast. Little bits of line work here. And helps build up that contrast. Let's go ahead and switch pens. So that's the wonderful gift from my sister. The BIE Lunar, I think is what it was, the BIE Lunar. So now we're with the Metro, or the Metropolitan. Now the thing about the Metropolitan is, like I said, it's got these really, really great thick to thin lines. Now they're not like obvious, but you'll be able to see a little bit here if I do it right. You'll see little changes in the lines. They look a little bit thinner. And not only thinner, but I can actually get some pretty nice, just little details and things. So let's go ahead and just pick a spot here. And I'm going to push a little harder as I get further back. And maybe you can see a small bit of a transition there. Maybe not. And that's fine if not. Because it's all about how a pen feels. You're going to use the pen that you like the feeling of the most. So I like pens that feel like they go from a light to a heavy, that I can actually control it slightly. The Smoother Pro pen that I need to get out here and play with here in a little bit, it, to me, doesn't have much pen pressure unless you really lay down on it. And that is a bit frustrating to me. And so I love it, though, because it's incredibly smooth to draw with on most paper surfaces. This paper I'm working on is pretty rough. It's got some pretty strong tooth to it. It's got some very strong tooth. And so I have to, get used to how the paper feels. I said tooth, so now I'm trying to draw like a gator. The paper feels under the pen, and each pen responds to the paper differently. That's kind of why I have loved getting so many of these pens recently, because there's just so much. Each one has a personality that just makes it unique of its own nature, and you kind of get to learn each one, and then you keep them all with you, and you pick your favorite when you know you're going to be writing jokes, like when I'm doing my comedy stuff. I'll probably take the Smoother Pro when I'm doing that. When I'm planning on doing more drawing stuff, I'll probably take my Metropolitan. If I'm planning on doing more stuff where I want to fill in things and give things detail, and try and build up more filled areas of black, then I'm definitely taking my Moon Man. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and flip over to the Moon Man here. And if I'm looking for something really comfortable, the Moon Man is actually super comfortable and posts pretty well. It sticks pretty good. I give it a little twist as I push it down. And but the thing about the Moon Man is when you use that thick nib, then you start getting these really nice thick lines. And then if you really want to, you just put it up on its point a bit more, and then you can get these nice thin lines, whatever you're looking for. So, and on paper like this, then you start to get the texturing of the nib as you're drawing. as it scrapes against the paper, you get that paper scrape like on the bottom there. And that just adds a lot more personality to the drawing, unless you want paper that isn't as toothy, which is my personal choice. This book, though, is actually pretty good because, like I said, it doesn't bleed, and I appreciate that. So I said bleed, so I used to draw like a heart, and then I used to draw the blood dripping off the heart here, so we'll do something like that. So I'll draw the blood kind of going all the way down here. There we go. Maybe have it streak off to the side there a little bit. And the ultimate goal is just to fill up this page as much as possible. So we'll fill this up with black. Since blood is so dark, we'll fill it up with black, and then as we get lower and lower and lower, we'll take that variation of line and open it up. The thing that I like is I know what I can do as a professional artist. I've been a professional artist now for forever. And so to look at what I'm drawing here and appreciate what I'm drawing, even though as I look at it, I go, wow, this stuff is really amateur. But for some reason, when you fill up a page of this stuff, and you fill up a whole complete page of stuff like this, it's not garbage anymore, and suddenly it becomes quite beautiful, in whatever way you chose to draw it, or whatever shapes you did. I mean, I got a page full of bubbles, on the other side, and I think that's really cool. It's the little things that make you appreciate art, and in time I'll get better. And the other thing is, there is such a final point to this. I love that. I love that every line that I put down, I can't take back. It's too late. And that is really, really cool. Because when you become a digital artist, you get used to that undo button, And in this case, that undo button, there's no such thing. You can't take it back. Whiteout will destroy the page. Jelly rolls will put down a shade of gray instead of a white. Even though they're a really great white gel pen, they still don't fix anything. They highlight things. They don't fix anything. So, and like I'm looking at this, and as I see the overall page, these areas of line work and these areas of fill here, the contrast that pops off of those, it just teaches you to think. It teaches you to think in that mental state. Let's see, what else can I draw here? And if I'm thinking too hard, then it's okay. Forget what you're doing. Just start randomizing things. Think of random shapes that are going to work for you, and just go. So here's bubbles. I can draw bubbles. I can draw bubbles over bubbles. I can make them 3D in nature. I can add highlight to them. So let's do that. Just build off of it over and over and over again, and just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. So anyway, recently I have been doing art for clients again, and it's been something that has taken me a while to get back into. Because I was really enjoying taking a break. I've been focusing on my other YouTube channel, Legacy Studio, which is all about drawing. Excuse me, not about drawing. It's all about video games and technology. And it's been doing pretty well, actually. I've been really, really pleased with how it's been growing. We've gotten about 3,000 subscribers in a year. And yes, my goal was to have 10,000 by the end of this year, which is in just a couple of days. And I'm nowhere close to that, and I will definitely not be able to meet that goal, unfortunately. I I pushed as hard as I could and unfortunately fell pretty short. But I tried. That's the point. You try your best, right? I tried my best. So now it's time to move on and continue enjoying. I didn't know I was a gamer until I met a bunch of people online by just reviewing VR games. And guess what? Here I am. So um, I am. Life has changed a lot since I started this drawing channel, and I still love to draw. And recently, I have enjoyed drawing for myself again because I was focusing on everybody else for the longest time, and I needed something different. And that's when I found, and just recently, that's when I found this world of fountain pens, and it's just so cool to sit there and draw in this form. And it feels very freeing. It feels very freeing. I love it. Like I said, very Zen-like. And I'm not a Zen person. I am very honored to be a Christian and believe that God has a plan for your life. But it is nice to get into those quiet moments when you're just sitting there and you're not thinking, but your brain comes up with these different ideas as you're looking at these different shapes and all the different theories on the paper, and you're starting to go, oh, I could expand on this, I could expand on that, I could, I could make a sun coming out of this whole thing, and who cares what's where and what's what. It's so much fun. All right, there you go. So there's another pen. That's the Moon Man. Let's go ahead and get the Smoother Pro now, and we'll come in here and we'll continue going. If you watched this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope you'd hit that like button for me. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you enjoy video games, please hop on over to Legacy Studio, my other channel. That channel I have put my heart and my time into for all of 2020 and all of 2021. I have invested my heart and everything I could into that channel, and any support over there would be greatly appreciated. And if you like music, I still produce music from time to time, and I have a channel called DORKA, and DORKA is a name from a video game that I played recently, and I created a name for a very, very weird character, and that weird character was called a Sunner from the game made by Cyan, and it looked an awful lot like a humpback whale, with the weird siphon sort of thing, and I didn't know what to call them, but they looked kind of dorky to me, and the closest thing I thought to a humpback whale was an orca. And so I just called them Dorkas. And everyone thought that was hilarious. And I was trying to make more music and stuff. And I said, you guys need to come up with a name for me. And I gave a couple options. And one of them was a joke. And I said, DJ Dorka. And they said, yes, you should totally do DJ Dorka. And I'm like, fine. So I'm DJ Dorka now. Well, actually, I'm just Dorka now. But I produce music under the pseudonym Dorka. And it looks like some of my ink hasn't dried yet, and so I'm spreading some of it, unfortunately, with my hand here. This Smoother Pro, if you're looking for a pen that's just smooth on drawing surfaces, if you want it to feel smoother than drawing with a ballpoint pen, maybe more like a gel pen, then a Smoother Pro is so good. So good. But once again, I'm not really getting any pressure sensitivity out of it. I mean, a little bit, but I don't consider this pen a pen worthy of calling it a pen pressure pen. And I don't want to push too hard because I certainly don't want to damage the nib. But it's a really great pen. I do like it a lot. I feel like this is one that's fun to write with. And I am working on some hand lettering kind of stuff. I do enjoy trying to write a little cleaner. And I'm not a very good writer, hand writer. Well, for comics I'm pretty good because I do everything in caps. Being at Disney for all those years made me quite the caps writer. So did that for forever. And yeah, it's supposed to be Mickey Mouse, and it looks completely wrong, but whatever. There we go. Yeah, no, it's supposed to be Mickey Mouse. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Maybe not. No, maybe not. But looks like a mix between Mickey Mouse and Sonic the Hedgehog and whatever that fun little rat is. It goes andale, andale, arriba, arriba. Or is it a mouse? Speedy Gonzales, man. But you just enjoy filling whole pages of this stuff. Who cares? Just enjoy it. And the thing I find is I got a couple pages in one of my other sketchbooks that's whole pages like this. And for some reason, coming back and looking at these is just so refreshing. Considering that, yeah, I draw people all the time. And it's so nice just to come back and look at something that's not people. And go, yeah, I can draw other things too. And I can enjoy doing something completely out of left field. All right, so now on to the Hong Dion, or Hong Dion. This one is a bent nib as well, also gold plated. I think this is an 18 karat gold nib. So we'll do some fills with this, and try and build up some contrast through this a little bit. So more black areas. And this nib puts out a lot of ink because I've adjusted it. Watched a couple of videos on adjusting nibs so that you get more control. When I first got this pen from my wife, it did not write well. It took a lot of extra pressure to start the ink flow. And with a couple of adjustments, I was able to get it to write really smooth. Now, it's not smooth. I mean, it's grabbing the paper like crazy. It's nothing like the Smoother Pro. And its nib is not rounded in any way where it would be good for that. But it definitely does what I would expect it to. Now that I have this nib adjusted. And you do that just by moving the tines a little bit here and there and trying to make sure that they're a bit more level, things like that. And all this is using the same ink. I'm probably going to skip this pen, which is the Zebra, because that one's not all that special. You can get that one at Walgreens for $6. You know, each one of these is closer to $20 or $30 or $40. You know, a little bit more on the pricier side of cheaper nibs, of course. You know, more affordable pens. But at least they're refillable, you know, and you can use them over and make them last, and like I said, each one just seems to have a little different bit of character, and I like being able to find that different character in each one of them. And I treat each one differently. I draw with each one differently because of it, and I like that. Let's see. I feel like I've filled up this page really well. Like I said, I enjoy it. Now, I gotta admit, when I look at it in camera and I look at it in person, I like what I see in person so much more than what I see in camera. Camera adds 10 pounds. And I don't know if camera adds 10 pounds ugly, but that's definitely a possibility with this drawing. But once again, the more contrast you add, the better it's going to get, in my opinion. And if not contrast, then just start thickening up your line work. You might be surprised how much depth that suddenly adds. My eyes keep coming back to this gator every time I look at the picture on my computer screen. So very carefully, I'm going to try and see if I can make him look a little bit more intense. Problem I have is a lot of my inks aren't really drying right now. So I got to kind of go in here pretty carefully, and we'll see if we can crosshatch him some contrast. Maybe we'll fill in the line that I put around him. But I don't think the line on the outside is my problem. I think it's going to be the line on the inside that's going to give me the most grief. I need to build up the tones inside there. So maybe what we'll do very quickly, since I can, is use the zebra pen, which is a very, very fine nib, and come in here and see if I can't add some more details with this zebra pen. Let me know what you think of the camera position. I know one thing that ticks me off is I'm a right-handed person, and I feel like the camera should be more offset, looking kind of diagonally from one side, so that your hand doesn't block the view. I can see that being quite obnoxious. So, and like I said, if you guys enjoy this, make sure to hit that like button for me. I do enjoy sitting down and just drawing and talking. I talk to myself a lot, and so I do my digital stuff to kind of, pay the bills. And I don't draw a lot for myself these days, except for when I need to do graphics for my YouTube channel or something like that. But when I'm drawing for myself, this is what I'm doing. And I'm thinking outside the box. Let's just go ahead and go with this Pentel Stylo for a little bit too, and see how that ink compares. Excuse me. I have a feeling that this could look quite a bit different. And like I said, the Stylo is a cool pen, cool idea, but I just found that at certain points, depending on how you pull the nib, it just seems to cause little spurts here and there. It's not doing it to me right now, which is good. All right, let's give this DORKA a bit more detail. And I just like that I'm not thinking. I don't care what I do. I'm enjoying doing nothing. Thinking outside the box. Outside my rules that I make to myself so much every day. Of here's what I got to do this right. Here's what people are expecting of me. And I think a lot of artists get stuck in that. That feeling of I draw a certain way, and if you're blessed to be hired to do commissions and things like that, I've been doing that for many, many years now. You get known for your style, and people expect that style from you, and they will pay more for your style that's different than everybody else's. So think outside the box and draw different than other people, so that they differentiate your work different than everybody else. Find a way to make your style unique, and that's something that happens naturally and happens accidentally. I'm going to go ahead and finish this off with my Moon Man, because then I can get some pretty heavy fills as I try and wrap this up here. Yeah, but when you're in this zone of doing artwork for everyone, and you're so focused on trying to get it exactly right because they know you for that style, it's very, very disconcerting to be like, okay, you know what, this commission, I'm going to try and do this differently than I've done in any other commission, because you need to give them what they paid for. what they've paid for is your artwork that they recognize. You know, it better look like a Tim Lee piece of art once you get done with it. You know, whatever your name is, whoever you are, it better look like that once you get done with it. And at the same time, okay, well, you haven't had any opportunity to try any different style or any different feeling for the last 10 years or however long you've been drawing, and that will weigh on you at a certain point in time. You'll feel the pain of being stuck, and it's called being stuck in a rut, and it's also called, you know, being burned out, because you don't have the opportunity to think outside outside the rules that you set for yourself and the rules that other people accidentally set on you because they're expecting what you do, you know. So when you can kind of get on your own and do your own thing and actually enjoy it, then that's pretty important. And in more recently, when I'm sitting at my computer, I'm working on video games for my viewership, or I'm working on commissions for the people who've ordered caricatures. And so I don't sit down at my computer, and my computer is a place of work. It's not a place of play. And I know that sounds confusing considering I'm a gamer per se, but I'm a closet gamer. I'm a fake gamer. I game to make video game videos for my people who enjoy how I play games. But during that whole thing, I'm trying to come up with jokes. I'm trying to have fun, but it's more of how do I be a good entertainer, you know? And it's a lot of fun, but it is still work, you know, and it will still. I get done with playing a game, which the game in itself is stressful because you're trying to solve puzzles and things like that, and you sit there and you're like, "Whew, okay, that was draining in a way." And then you go and I sit down with a pad and piece of paper, you know, or something, and a writing utensil, and it's just nice to draw what I want. And especially when it comes to doing this, I'm not going to draw people, you know, and if I do, I can't use it professionally. I can't give them this and be like, here's your caricature. No, because I'm known for doing digital, and I'm not about to give them something that I've just drawn on a small piece of paper. It needs to be large format and everything that people expect me to do. So this just puts me in that okay, if I'm going to be here and doing this, I don't have a choice but to do what I want to do, which is pretty cool. So, and like I said before, if you've watched this long in this video, then you are quite the trooper. And do me a favor, smack that like button. And if you got this far, I'm going to wrap up here in a minute. Put in the comments that you made it to the end, that you made it all the way to the end. I like getting comments like that say you made it to the end. And if you want more of this kind of stuff and more of that chat on things like this, then I will do that. And I think in a way that will make this channel more mine again, you know, more personal again, because this is the stuff I do right now. I don't draw caricatures for fun. I draw caricatures for work. I draw caricatures for money, and it's a bit of a brain teaser. And if I do draw a caricature, it's usually me in a exaggerated form, and that makes me look rather narcissistic. So, I feel like I've filled up that page really well. And yes, there is certainly more of that page that I can do, but I can do that in the future. For right now, this is great, and I've had a good talk with you. That's 45 minutes of playing around and drawing weird random things, but look at how beautiful that becomes. And I've barely even started, per se. I could go in and detail out all of this a little bit at a time and make things look cleaner and get in more details and build up that foundation of contrast and stuff. I mean, it's either a building block or it's a finished piece. When I come back to it, I can look at this and go, okay, I talked about brains, I talked about the world, I talked about sunners. I talked about fish. I talked about Mickey Mouse. I talked about lifting weights and getting muscular. I talked about, you know, alligators. Who knows, teeth in this case, or making rules for myself with stop and go signs and things like that. So that's pretty cool. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it, and it's just nice to do something different and actually draw for myself every now and then. I'll see you guys next time right here on Draw Too Much in Legacy Studio. Y'all behave yourselves, and thank you so much for hanging out with me for 45 minutes. If you actually did hang out this whole time, like I said, leave a comment down below and let me know that you stuck it through the whole thing. All right, see you later, folks. Bye.